This weekend, Lake Compounce will kick off the 2024 Phantom Fall Fest. This is what I consider to be the best theme park haunt in all of New England. This is because of the ride lineup, haunted houses, and atmosphere. In this video, I will preview the 2024 event, discussing the changes and updates from past years. This will be the third year that Lake Compounce has offered Phantom Fall Fest. This replaced the beloved haunted graveyard that operated at the park from 2001 through 2019. I already have a full review published to the channel about the event. It was based around the 2023 event, but much of that information still holds true. This video will cover what has changed specifically with this year's event. The most notable changes are to the haunted houses themselves. Last year, Lake Compounce had 4. That's the same this year. 2 of them have been brought back, while 2 have been adapted into all new haunts. I will start with the returning ones. Malice in Wonderland has been my favorite haunt at the event. It has the distinct advantage of being entirely indoors in the park's ballroom, so the lighting is superior. The other haunts have been entirely outdoors in past years. Malice also has better set design and a longer duration. From what I've heard, this is the standard the park wants to use for any future haunts going forward. Medieval is themed to a medieval dungeon. There are 2 key changes from the maze from past years. 1, the chain link fencing has been replaced by solid walls. This looks much better aesthetically, and it better conceals the scares. 2, the pathways have been narrowed, which has allowed the park to pack in more thrills. This haunt will continue to be located next to Downtime, where Wipeout once stood. Spirits of the Swamp has been replaced by Bloodcraft. This will continue the voodoo theme and the aesthetic as well, but the maze has been completely reworked. Rather than being located off the main Midway by Wildcat's exit, this one has been placed alongside Thunder and Lightning. Then the haunt is mostly enclosed by large walls, but there will be a brief outdoor bit for some variety. Root of All Evil has been replaced by Malignant. This is based around a chemical spill creating these wild and unruly plants. Rather than being located on a hill next to Revolution, this will be placed in Kyle's Garden, where the dinosaur walkthrough once was. As a result, much of this haunt will be entirely outdoors, which will give it a much different aesthetic than the other 3. There were 2 reasons these haunts were updated. 1, guest flow. It is no secret their prior locations were awful from a crowd management perspective. They cut off large chunks of the Midway, particularly Root of All Evil. The new mazes will not disrupt the park's main pathways nearly as much. 2, freshness. The park did not want to keep rolling out the same haunts year after year. They wanted to give guests some new haunts to see. At this time, the park does not plan to add additional intellectual properties to the event, but they do have plans to monitor this for future years. This is notable because Six Flags 2024 Fright Fest is mostly centered around major film and TV franchises instead of original themes. Not only have the sets and themes been revisited for Lake Compounce, but the park is promising more and better scares. The park's new entertainment head comes from Universal and is very familiar with Hollywood Horror Nights, which is widely considered to be the best haunt in the theme park industry, so his knowledge will only enhance the event. Per the park, the number of actors should be relatively consistent every day of the event. That is encouraging because I've encountered a few theme park haunts in the region that sometimes have just 1 or 2 actors in their haunts on the quieter nights. The park is also taking a different approach to the Midway characters. The past 2 years, they have had small scare zones with actors that are confined to those specific areas. This year, the park will have what they're calling the roaming horde of horrors. This will be a mass of 25 to 30 monsters that roam the park's entire Midway all together. I cannot think of another park that does something quite like this, so I'm really intrigued to see how it compares. I could see it being quite the sight rounding a corner and seeing all the actors coming right at you. Moving on to the rides, the park plans to have a majority of the attractions available for the event. The rides that will be closed are the water rides and Zoomerang. The latter has had major technical issues during the 2024 season, and it's unlikely they will be resolved in the next 1 or 2 months. The coaster should return to normal operation in 2025. One coaster that's making a triumphant return to the event is Wildcat. This wood coaster has been unavailable at Halloween for several years due to retracking or repainting. But after the big refurbishment it had this off-season, it will be available, and it's riding better than it has in a very long time. But the star attraction will continue to be Boulder Dash. This wood coaster offers a legendary night ride. Since it's located on a heavily wooded mountainside, there is barely any light at night. The ride has amazing pacing and plentiful airtime anyway by day, but becomes one of the world's best coaster experiences once the sun goes down. It is the highlight of the event for me because it's so hard to get night rides in Boulder Dash any other time of the year. Now let's talk about the operating schedule. The event starts next week, taking place on all Saturdays and Sundays through the end of October. Then the park is also open on Friday nights in October, but not September. Hours have been slightly reduced from 2024. Fridays have the same number of hours as before, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Last year, the park was open on Saturdays and Sundays from noon until 10 p.m. This year, the park opens 1 hour later at 1 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. The 10 p.m. close remains for Saturday, which always has been the event's busiest day by far, but the park will close 1 hour earlier on Sundays at 9 p.m. I understand why that has been done from a crowd perspective. Sunday nights really empty out at the end because most people have work the following day. This has been my preferred day to visit in past years. During those last 2 hours, the haunts and rides have often been complete walk-ons. As before, the haunt activities start at 6 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. Then there are some kid-friendly activities during the daytime such as a trick-or-treat trail in Kittyland. It is worth noting some of the kid-friendly attractions such as Kittyland Entirely, the train, and Zoomer's Gas and Go car ride are only available on Saturdays and Sundays before 6 p.m. Some other quick notes. Tickets are significantly cheaper if you buy them in advance online. The park currently has a flash sale where tickets are just $25, which is an amazing value. Alternatively, you can purchase a 2025 season pass starting at $100, and you get the rest of 2024 for free as well. Not only do you get to visit as much as you want for the next 16 months, but you also get parking included, which otherwise is a $30 fee. The Speedy Pass Skip the Line system will be available during the event. It will be offered for both the haunts and rides separately. Prices will vary by day, costing more in the busier days when the park is expected to have higher crowds. The event will continue to have a stricter bag policy than the other times of year. They don't need to be clear as past years, but no bags larger than 8 inches by 5 inches by 2 inches are allowed into the park. The only exceptions are for childcare or medical supply bags. The park will continue to enforce a chaperone policy. No one under the age of 17 will be allowed into the park unless they are accompanied by a chaperone who is at least 21 years old. We have seen many parks implement this policy, particularly for Halloween events, to prevent unruly behavior. Finally, there will be some special treats and food items exclusive to Fall Fest, which is in line with what other parks do this time of year. In short, Lake Compounce's 2024 Phantom Fall Fest is shaping up to be the best year for the event. It sounds like the haunts and overall atmosphere will be improved. And when you add in the fun rides, particularly Boulder Dash at night, it should remain my favorite theme park haunt event in the area. I definitely recommend checking it out if you have not in past years. Do you plan on visiting? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this news update, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.